Welcome to Rick's Corner. I've pretty much said it all, but I still get questions upon questions upon questions. What did you take back in the day? What did Arnold take back in the day? I've already listed most of it, but I'll go over it again. You have to realize in the 1970s, there weren't the sophisticated steroids that there are today. You had basically testosterone, DECA, Winstrol, and Anavar. Those are the four things. Growth hormone wasn't really even heard of in the United States. Now, maybe in foreign countries they're a little more advanced than we are. So people from there may have been taking it, and I'm pretty sure they were. I can't say what Arnold took. I don't know, because it wasn't talked about. Locally, we knew what we took. I know that it was testosterone. I know that it was DECA were the two main things, Winstrol and Anavar. Like I said, those were the four primary things that we took back in those days. Now, nobody took a huge abundance of it because it wasn't necessary to take a lot, because it's not like the more you take, the better you get. Your body can only utilize so much at one time. It's just like if you eat a whole bunch of food, you're only going to assimilate so much, the rest you're going to crap out. I mean, that's just common sense. You cannot assimilate everything at one time. So I would do at most 100 milligrams a week of testosterone, maybe 50 milligrams of DECA together. Now, DECA I don't like. DECA, great for some people. It does heal your joints, but as far as sex drive, it'll give you what they call DECA dick, which is assault with a dead weapon. That's what I call it anyway. It doesn't do it to everybody. It does it to a lot. Equipoise is similar. It doesn't have that effect, and it also burns body fat. That stuff's pretty good too. It's a veterinary product, and veterinarian products aren't that bad. They use them on animals, yes. I know we're taking animal steroids, yes, but they do have okay effects, and they do work. So back in the day of the golden era, like I say, it wasn't so much what we took. It was really how we trained, and it was really how we ate. And I know you find that hard to believe. How do you make those gains natural? Well, they're not really that natural because you are taking additives. But we trained heavy, and we trained consistently, and we ate by the clock. I mean, I'm saying high protein, low carb. Now, somebody had asked me, what do you do off season about carbs? Well, everybody's different. I stayed on a diet year round. I just felt better when I was in shape. I wasn't one of these guys who would go binge for 6 weeks or 6 months and eat crap and gain 30 pounds, because then you have to just lose it all over again. I mean, why go through all the trouble of getting in shape to get fat to lose it? Ken Waller would gain weight. He'd like to eat, and he'd eat a lot of food. He'd put on 30 pounds. And then when contests came around, he'd lose the 30 pounds. But it's even harder because whatever you put on, you have to spend time to take off, and it doesn't come off that quick. I think Cytomel, which was a thyroid, was also used. Cytomel speeds you up and burns fat. It's a thyroid additive. It speeds up your thyroid, but the downside is it can kill your thyroid. And I think some of the guys, or at least one that I know of, blew out his thyroid, and he gained like 60 pounds because his thyroid wasn't working, so he got fat from burning it out. So you got to be careful what you do, because it's going to have an effect somewhere down the road. Yes, you do get a lot stronger. You get really strong, and your muscles can take it, but sometimes your tendons can't, and you'll snap something. I snapped my right tricep in the gym doing 65-pound dumbbell extensions from a decline, and one day it snapped off, shot up my arm. I never had it reattached. I talked to people who did. It was never the same. My arm's never the same. I got a flat tricep now here because my tricep's not attached. It took me months to get my strength back, which I do have now, but there's a numbness when I press that I'll never be the normal again. That was due not only to taking steroids and being strong, but taking cortisone shots in my elbow, because I had wrestlers' elbows from banging them on the mat, and cortisone eats away the tendon. And so over a period of time, it's exactly what it did. Steroids help heal. They are a healing agent. They're good for healing up muscle. They're good for, they were used in World War I and II for people who were really almost emaciated from war, and they were sick. It brought them back to health. It put weight on them. It gave them a sense of well-being and increased their appetite. That's why the bodybuilders got it, because they knew it helped them. So if you're training, it's going to help you. It's just common sense. They were legal back when we took them. They weren't illegal up through the 80s until they became a Class 3 drug, or Class 1 drug now, I believe, because the government wanted to make their money. Everybody's taking this drug. No one's making any money. The government needs it. Make it a prescription and we'll tax them, just like everything else. However, as bad as it is, it's not that bad. And cigarettes and tobacco and alcohol are legal. Those are the two killers, lung cancer and drunk drivers. Yet it's legal. Why? Because the government makes money on it. You know, that's all about money. So now with steroids being banned, and they're going to make money on it, I mean, we have world wars, we have homeless people, we have extreme unemployment, yet the government takes Barry Bonds to court because he lied about taking steroids. Big deal. He lied about taking steroids. That's going to cause a world war, right? I mean, what a stupid thing to expand upon when we have a lot of big problems with gas prices and everything else going on. So, if you're going to take steroids, I'm not telling you to do it, and I'm not telling you not to do it. You have to understand there are repercussions. You're going to have side effects somewhere down the road, whether it be acne, bloat. It can cause heart arrhythmia with palpitations, high blood pressure for sure. The other thing is it can raise your red blood cells, and raising red blood cell count makes your blood thick, and when your blood becomes thick, it can cause a stroke. So mine wasn't really very high. It was about 3 points higher than normal, but my doctor was worried. He says, you know, you got to go off and get that red blood cell count down. If you want to get it down another way, you can donate blood once a month and take a pint of blood off. I know you guys don't want to do that. You know, draining blood is kind of weird, but it does keep you from having thickening blood. My dad had that, but he didn't take steroids. It was just a normal thing in his body that created more blood in the system. Now, the steroids today, a lot of guys are doing the growth hormone. I've tried it. I've tried it maybe 6 times in a cycle. 1 IU every other day, 2 IU every other day, 3 IU every day, and 4 IU every other day. I noticed a decrease in body fat. I noticed an increase in strength. I didn't gain 40 pounds of muscle like some people do, and I don't know why. I mean, I ate right. I increased my calories because you have to. Shape was a little bit different, but the guys that are competing today are doing 10 IUs a day. Now, that's expensive because only one bottle has 17 IUs in it. So that's going to last you 2 days. You got 7 bottles in a box. The box is $450. So go figure. It's going to cost you about $1,500 to $2,000 a month to take the growth hormone. And you don't get that great of results out of it. You do get good results if you mix it with insulin. Now, insulin's for diabetes, and insulin is an amino acid. Insulin also promotes muscle growth. But the downside of that is if you don't know how to take it, you can go into a coma, or you can end up with diabetes, and you can die. Is it worth it? Nope. Not to me, it's not. Why? To be a little bit bigger? To walk around the streets and say, hey, look at me, I'm big, I'm thick? No one gives a shit. Be honest with you. Nobody gives a shit. And neither do the women that you're trying to pick up. They'd rather see you lean and hard, in good shape, than to be bloated walking like a gorilla down the street. I don't find it that attractive at all. So it's not worth risking your life. It's not worth getting sick just to be big. And if you're not going to compete, why do it anyway? There's only one guy that wins the Olympia. And you know how that is. There's 10 guys in a row, and they nitpick every little deal. And that one guy makes a few bucks. The rest go home broke. And they probably spend $100,000 a year on drugs to get nothing. So it's really not worth it. So when you want to think about taking steroids, think twice. Eat right. You can use the precursors like Prime or Tribulus. They do help. They're not less steroid, but they do help increase your lower testosterone or increase your testosterone rate, which will help you gain more size and more muscle. But you remember, you got to get your protein in too. You got to get 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, you need 200 grams of protein a day. Not all at once. Spread it out every 2.5, 3 hours because your body assimilates it as you go. And I also found another thing that really works. And you really got to be dedicated to do this. Take a protein drink at bedtime. I mix fiber, because you got to have fiber. Mix apple cider vinegar twice a day, because it kills off bacteria. And I mix my scoops of protein with water at bedtime, 11 o'clock. A long-acting protein like a whey or a casein will see you through the night. Your body's a 24-hour clock, and it assimilates as you sleep and also burns as you sleep. So taking the protein at bedtime not only increases muscle size, but also decreases body fat, because your body metabolism is working. So these are a few tips I wanted you to know, because you ask me all the time. I can't tell you how much I took back in the 70s. I don't think, like I said, it was 100 milligrams a week maybe, which is nothing by today's standard. These guys are doing 1,000 milligrams a week or 2,000 milligrams a week. The problem is you can only use so much, and the rest is just useless. You'll get bloat. You'll feel shitty. You'll get high blood pressure. You'll have no energy. You might be strong in the gym. Is it worth it? No. Less is more. Even in the wrestling ring, when I teach the guys in the ring, they don't have to do 100 high spots to get across to the audience. Do 3 major things that mean something, because less is more. So remember that when you want to take something. Remember that when you train. Train hard to stimulate. Don't overtrain. Eat sensibly. Eat little bits at a time, because you can assimilate as you go. If you're going to take steroids, I'm not telling you to do it. Take it in moderation. And remember where you buy it, too, because everything on the street nowadays, they have knockoffs that look so much like the real thing, I can't tell one from the other. It could just be motor oil. Or I heard that even Winstrol V was Armor All. I don't want to inject that in my body, so know your source and make sure you know that stuff is real, because 95% of it's not. And it's going to be a problem, injecting a substance into your body that you don't know where it came from. So that's steroids part 5. If I come up with part 6, I'll have to add more information for you, and I'm sure I can gather it somewhere. Thanks for watching Rick's Corner. I'll bring you everything I can to help you guys out, because I love you all. All right? Stay tuned because I'm bringing you more every week.